Hey everybody, Alex Kazora, SteelersDepot.com, back with the Pittsburgh Steelers preview and prediction for this Week 17 Monday night game between the Pittsburgh Steelers and Cleveland Browns. Must-win game for both sides. Pittsburgh 7-7-1 in this one. The Browns 7-8 on the season. So let's talk about the keys to look for in this game. And obviously, the elephant in the room here, and what is almost certainly going to be Ben Roethlisberger's last home game at Heinz Field. So the emotions, the intensity, the energy of this game should certainly be even greater than what the usual circumstances of a Week 17 game that means so much for both sides would display. But for this one, on the X's and O's and the actual football aspect of it, the Browns they are a reeling team. They're struggling down the stretch for sure. Their offense is really tanked, but a lot of that has been due to injury and illness and just overall, not having guys available. And they're probably, especially offensively, as healthy as they've been in quite some time. Kareem Hunt, as of this recording this here on Saturday night, looks like he's going to have a good chance to play on Monday. Not guaranteed, but he did not play in that Week 8 game. Probably going to do so this time around. The offensive line, especially, is a lot healthier than where it was a couple weeks ago. Jedrick Wills will return at left tackle. That'll kick Joel Patonia, was playing left tackle for Cleveland. That'll push him back to his normal spot at left guard. J.C. Treader, I think, is going to play this week as well, and so that's going to be big for the Browns. So overall, just a healthier team is going to make them obviously more of their usual identity in how they play Browns football. And when you think about the Browns, it's funny. I hear some analysts and people talk about, oh, the Steelers won't have Chris Wormley, they won't have Joe Schobert. Will that have the Browns commit to the run even more? That's not going to change their approach. Even if Pittsburgh had Wormley and Schobert or Jack Ham and Joe Green, the Browns are going to run the football because that's their identity. That's been their key to success. That's kind of how they build this whole offense, especially in a year where Mayfield's played through multiple injuries, especially a shoulder injury on that non-throwing arm and just his poor performance overall. So they're going to run through Nick Chubb and Hunt and Dearness Johnson if Hunt does not play in this one. They're going to have a variety of schemes. They're doing some zone stuff. They're doing some more pin and pull and kind of perimeter runs on some of those elongated gap runs. They were really heavily used against the Packers in that Christmas loss that they had. And so overall, you kind of have to defend the whole field, and they'll certainly run up the middle as well. Nick Chubb was able to break off a 7-yard run despite being a bigger guy. And so Pittsburgh in that Week 8 win held the Browns to 98 total yards. And you're going to have to probably hold this team to under 100 again. And can you do that, especially with how poor their run defense has been basically since that Browns game, allowing 100 plus yards rushing and what is it now, 8 straight games for the first time Pittsburgh's allowed that since 1956, which is just crazy to think about. And then again, the absence of Wormley, who's been a really key underrated guy this year, and Schobert, who's not played very well this year, but probably better than what Marcus Allen might get you. We'll see what Devin Bush does if he can come back and clear the COVID list. But even if he does, I mean, he'll probably play, but he hasn't practiced in 2 weeks, and so that's not going to do him any favors after an especially difficult season. In terms of the Browns' passing attack, it's not been a strength of theirs this season, but I would watch out for those tight ends. They got three pretty good ones, and they rely on them almost as much as any team in football. David Njoku's been more of a vertical threat, averaging, I think, 14.7 yards per catch this season, where Austin Hooper and Harrison Bryant are more underneath, check down, Hank concept, play action, boots, red zone kind of threats. But those guys combined, I think, have 85 catches for nearly 1,000 yards and 8 touchdowns this season. So you're always worried about the boot stuff. They do a lot of false keys where they'll pull the guard and fake like it's a run. They really get linebackers to step up because they get that run key when that guard pulls and they throw it behind you. And so defending some of that play action, that boot stuff off the run game, going to be really important. So what I'm also interested to see quickly. Will the Browns run a lot of empty? They didn't do that in that Week 8 game, which surprised me. They only did it twice, running empty out of those heavier sets where they're going to bring multiple tight ends, keep Pittsburgh in base. Only happened twice in that first matchup. That was very effective last year in both the regular season and in that wild card win that Cleveland had. And so I wonder if they go back to some of those routes for some kind of quick, easy completions on first, second down against Pittsburgh. Defensively, this is where the Browns are still hurting, especially in the secondary. They're missing some guys. The safeties, Ronnie Harrison, John Johnson, cornerback Troy Hill. They have gotten some guys back like Newsom. I think Delpit's back for a couple weeks now. So they're healthier than what they've been, but you can still probably attack that secondary. The run defense is pretty good overall. They're going to have some extra guys back as well. JOK's missed some time for them, didn't play against Pittsburgh in week 8. And so that's been one of the better rookies defensively on the season. If it wasn't for a guy like Micah Parsons having a historically good rookie year, we'd probably be talking a lot more about JOK and his sideline to sideline ability and instincts. And I loved him coming out of Notre Dame. I thought Pittsburgh would have some interest in him, but obviously the focus was on offense to for start off that draft for the first 4 rounds. But defensively, of course, all eyes are on Miles Garrett. He's been kind of hampered by a groin injury, but Dan Moore certainly had a tough time against him in Week 8. Pittsburgh didn't do a lot to give more help and only allowed 1 sack, but it was a million pressures and could have been 2-3 sacks. And had Najee Harris not picked up Garrett on that fourth down touchdown by Pat Frymuth, Garrett would have had 2 and probably won that game for the Cleveland Browns. And so I'm really interested to see how Dan Moore responds in that rematch. My expectations still aren't terribly high, but I do want to see more since he's seen him once and Moore has been playing better as of late. So that's a matchup I'm certainly keying in on. So overall, I admit I'm probably pretty biased here, and my track record of picks lately have been poor. Though I got off the schneid last week by picking the Chiefs to win the game over the Steelers. I got the Steelers winning this one though, 21-20 on a Chris Boswell game-winning field goal as time expires. So super specific. These games are typically very close, just as it was in Week 8, 15-10. Pittsburgh winning over Cleveland. And I just think, and again, this is some of the intangible stuff, and I usually don't like to default to the who wants it more argument because both teams want it a lot, and it just once the ball is kicked off, all the storylines kind of go away. But the energy, you have to think the crowd's going to really be a factor in this one, and players are going to really put it all out on the line for Ben. And again, what is probably going to be his last home game unless the Steelers secure a home playoff game, which they would do by winning out and the Bengals losing out. But even on just paper, hopefully the run defense is better. I think it showed some signs of improvement against the Chiefs. Just need having better gap integrity and tackling and finishing in that one. And I think that Brown secondary is still dealing with some injuries that hopefully can allow maybe a Claypool and certainly a Deontay Johnson to win downfield. So that's my prediction. Pittsburgh winning this one 21-20. Boswell game winner led created by a Ben kind of last drive or something like that. So hopefully that happens. I don't care how the Steelers win. Just, you want them to get a victory and keep their playoff hopes alive. And that's ultimately all that matters. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Let me know your score prediction as well. Will the Steelers win this one, or will the Browns get the victory and essentially end the season, the Steelers' season, and really Ben's career as well? So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Please like and subscribe. You guys have not done so already. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you soon.